What's up, y'all? What's happening, everybody? I am Joseph R. Wheeler III, artist, founder, president of the ONYXCON Foundation. Welcome to another ONYXCON live. Yes, indeed, another live. So, I wanted to talk to y'all today about what everybody's talking about on YouTube. Well, not everybody, but I'll just say all the hip-hop world is talking, right? And there's two major albums that came out on the same day, November 22nd, yesterday, okay? All right, yesterday was it. And one of the albums, in my opinion, could be, a generation gap slept on a little bit. And the other one, no matter what generation, you're going to know about it. So I'm talking about the new Ice Cube album, Man Down, and Kendrick Lamar has dropped GNX, his newest album. GNX is out. If you haven't heard it, check it out. If you haven't heard the Ice Cube, check it out. Now, I plan to do an official video where I do some sound bites from each one, and I want to do kind of what everybody's doing. I don't want to do a full, just set it up somehow, and I could record it, go over it, edit it, and then talk over it, that kind of thing. But the problem is you're gonna run into copyright. So I don't even know how people do that. I guess I'm starting to realize a lot of people they don't care. They just want the numbers, and I guess it does bring people to your channel. So I get it. It's like if you do a review of the album, or if you even just take the album and put it out there, it's gonna bring people to your page for a certain amount of time. But the problem is, it's like when people do those pirated football games and stuff, and that's the way I watch a lot of games. Is because I don't have ESPN and all that stuff, so I come here on YouTube and check out all them little random channels. But the funny thing is, some of them somehow are allowed to show dang near the whole game. Sometimes they do play the whole game. I don't know how they doing that. I really I don't understand how they get away with that. But they do it. They do it every week, and some of them, they still show the commercials that air, and maybe that's how they got it worked out. Somehow they got something finagled with the companies, with the commercials. So as long as the commercials are in it, somebody's getting their money out of it, so they don't care. But bottom line is, when people do that with music, I'm just like, how do y'all do this? Because it ain't gonna last. This first week, it'll be up for a minute or a couple of days, and then you'll notice a lot of them get cut off quick. Or if you go listening to some of those channels where they do those, it'll get cut off real quick after, you'll be listening and you'll be like, oh man, by the time you get into about the second, third song, it might be like, it'll put up the little block talking about, this is copyright material, you can't do. So I don't like to play with the copyright thing. I try to stay within the zones on that. We had our very first ever video to get banned was the one that I did when I was analyzing the effects of the next administration and what they are saying they're going to do against pornography. And I was talking about that. I was breaking that down, and I was breaking down the history of how can someone at the leadership of that next administration have the audacity to say that they're against something that is a part of their own lifestyle. Literally, they in it. They made money off it there. But anyway, that was in the video, but that got cut. So anyway, I ain't gonna even talk about it. It makes me mad just to think about how they jumped all over that. And there's so much other shit out here on YouTube that is straight up borderline the reason folks go to OnlyFans, if you know what I'm saying. But that stuff can get away. They can get away with that. But then I go put something analytical up where I'm breaking down the history of this. I started off with the history of erotica and went into how that was corrupt and everything. Don't worry, we're gonna get back to talking about the music, but I just went on a tangent to make the point that, YouTube and other channels, other social media networks, platforms, they can be weird. They can be real weird about what they'll cut down and what they won't. You know what I'm saying? And we all know it's biased. If you've been doing this any amount of time, or whether you do it or you're a fan of people's channels, you can read between the lines. You know what time it is. So it's like the lyrics. Oh, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But yo, I'm talking about this new Cube album. Let me see. Let me break down Cube first. I might go interchangeably between both of them. Man, I appreciate y'all for hanging out and waiting Really do. Thank you. Shout out to the 3 in the building. Put a thumbs up for yourself. Being a real one. All my monetization nation. Or are you a real one? There's a lot of bots and shysters and all that going on. Speaking of which, we're gonna start that with that Ice Cube review, as I was saying. Like, this is the light version. Like I said, I'm gonna do one eventually when I get around to editing it and everything. Well, I'm gonna try to go through the album, because what you could do, typically you can play like just under a minute of any song, and depending on how the copyright is set up for that song, you might be able to play Russian roulette with the copyright thing, and they'll let it get by, because they'll usually say it'll still say copyright, but it won't be like a restriction. It'll be, this artist allows their music to be used on social media, but what it really should say is this artist allows only this many seconds of a song to be used, and that's typically the truth of it all. It's like, as long as you stay within, I try to like kind of be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Get to 10 seconds, cut it off. And even when I'm out, you'll notice a lot of YouTubers, if we in a store or something and something is playing, I'd be like, damn, the copyright, because we know it's gonna get us. It's like, you don't even want to hear no music in no store or nothing, because if you're doing a live, it's done. If it's something you can edit, you can go back later and put some music over it or whatever. But otherwise, man, it's a pain in the ass. It's constantly a thing. But on the Cube album, Man Down, he's covering a lot of ground. One of my absolute favorites on the album, because I got a couple of favorites, and I think it's like 19 tracks all together. It's a lot. It's a whole lot. The funny thing about that whole lot is, I thought, that every song gonna be like a full song. Some of them songs ain't even full songs. They like just like one verse. You know what I'm saying? He's spitting. I mean, Cube is doing his thing. He killing it. But it's like, damn, bro, can I get more? Like, this shit is hot. Like, it'll be a song you really digging. You groove into it. You like, yeah. Now you're like, okay, let me get the second verse. And then you hear the music fading out. You're like, you got to be kidding me, right? That's it. And that happens I think there's about 5 or 6 tracks on the album that do that. I didn't like that. So that's a strike against it, but not against the artistry, because, like I say, the album is good. But I think it could have been great had certain songs been longer. And there's some other things, I'm going to elaborate on that too. But hold tight. We still at work, y'all. Like I say, if y'all want to get to the point where I don't have no breaks when I go live, support the channel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you put a like on everything you watch. Positive comments, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. It is really real. It's just like that. We don't care about no other perspectives. We really don't. There's too many other people in the world you could be watching. If you don't like what you see, just keep it moving. But if you like it, love it, speak on it, and let's keep it growing, because I'm telling you, when I get to the point where this thing is fully monetized, I won't be putting no brakes. I'll just be moving with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all the breaks will be when we had the hiccups because the signal go out or whatever when you live. And you may already know this, but it's a tip for anybody who's new to it, or who just, runs into this problem and never figured out how to get it to work. You know how it is, there's different signals with these phones. So you can be in an area that's bad and you think, man, what the hell? I just turned the corner and suddenly my signal is messed up. Or you drop an order and suddenly you can't do the GPS. It won't connect. No signal. No, you're not online. Go to the settings for your airplane mode, put it in airplane mode. Count 1, 2, 3. Cut it off. Sometimes keep it in airplane mode, go back to the app you're trying to open, press it, see if it don't work. Then go back and cut off airplane mode, because you can't keep airplane mode on. But something about airplane, it needs to be known. It don't even need to be called airplane mode. It needs to be called savior mode, because it literally somehow reboots the signal and throws out the bad signal and pulls in the good so you can get a signal again. And if that don't work, you in a show enough, you out there. And I've been in situations like that, like you in the boonies somewhere and it's so remote, it's so whatever, you really cannot get a signal. And that's when, you go through the other steps. But anyway, that's just a little tip for my people. So back to what I was saying. I'm talking about this Cube album, Man Down, and we're going to get to G and X, Kendrick. And like I say, there will be I plan to do a more formal video for each of them, where I will have the music playing before this live. I'm just chopping it up with y'all, my thoughts, my genuine, general thoughts, my raw thoughts. Because I tend to hold back on going hardcore raw on my edited videos, because they gonna stay up forever. People may see a live, but I do so many lives, I know most people ain't gonna watch all these lives. So if you want the behind the scenes, you want the show enough, I'm gonna give it to you right now. Here, this is where you get it. You get it in. So I said that's another reason when you subscribe here, when I do go live, check in, because you're gonna get a whole other side of me, whole nother side of ONYXCON. I'm gonna give y'all all kinds of esoteric thought, other kinds of perspectives that I wouldn't necessarily say on stuff that is in the general view when people come to my page, you know. And let me say too, views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of ONYXCON, its affiliates, associates, sponsors, etc. I am just the face, the host, and yes, I'm the founder and president, but I'm speaking for myself when I'm giving my opinions, okay? That's just simple as that. And even my opinions are based on mood and everything and my experience, you know? Your experience totally different, so don't get offended if it's my favorite rapper of all time. Well, great. He's one of my favorites too, but I'm an artist too, so I gotta, you know, and I'm an artist of many types. I'm not well, shit, I am a musician. I do music too. I'm not a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I can rap though. You know what I'm saying? I always say, if I had more time for this life, I probably would have been a rapper, a singer, dancer. I would have been all kind of stuff. But I focused on the things I knew I had the strengths in, and that's still a hell of a lot of hats that I wear very well. You know, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm a visual artist. I draw, paint, sculpt, etc. And if you do any type of art, there's always a process. There's always the process and the energy that goes into any form of creativity is universal. So when I give an opinion on an artist of any kind, when I'm talking about musician, it's from a genuine felt play, because I know how much work they're putting into even just getting that to your ear. You know, so I'm very careful about being harsh when I know that, for one thing, I'm not the only person they made this for. And they could care less if I don't like it. They're not making it for one person. So that's the one thing about Cube to acknowledge going into that album. First and foremost, Cube has always been a take me or leave me type dude. You know what I'm saying? Kendrick is a young version of that same energy. But Cube is like, you know, he just showing up OG, the triple OG that's been around forever with it. And like he said in his track, It's My Ego, he said, I was Kendrick before Kendrick. He ain't never lied. That's not a diss, that's a compliment. That's a compliment to Kendrick, because it's like, I recognize who Kendrick is now. He's the king of the West, and he's in many ways one of, if not say have him ask it, the greatest rapper alive. You know what I'm saying? Now, all rappers are gonna say that about themselves, the ones who really loving what they do and think that they're that impactful. But Kendrick can really stand on it and has a lot of the merits and credits to say so, especially after the beef with Drake. And we all know how that went with They Not Like Us. It is what it is. It's like, it was the anthem of the year. Like 2024, when they do the ball drop for 2025 on New Year's Eve, they're gonna be talking about all the events that took place in the year, and somewhere in there, every channel, every whatever is gonna mention Kendrick Lamar, period. That's just what that gonna do, you know? It's got to do that, period, right? So I'm a fan of Kendrick, and I respect Kendrick, and I look at his career and how he's grown, and I'll never forget the first time I heard him. I didn't know who I was listening to, but the track was blowing me away, and it was High Powered. High Powered was the first Kendrick thing I ever heard. Like I said, I'm gonna be going back and forth between Kendrick and Cube, talking about both of them, since both of them came out on the same day. But right now I'm gonna jump on this thing to make my point. But you know, Kendrick, man, when he did High Powered, I'll never forget I'm hearing all these lyrics of obviously somebody young, but he's conscious. He was, you know, it was all about a lot of elements of Black history, a lot of elements of personal appreciation for the history of, you know, various leaders for the civil rights movement. It was a lot in that one song, a whole lot. Go back and find that if you ain't never. So by the time Kendrick got to Good Kid, Mad City, a friend of mine let me borrow, not even borrow, she burned me a copy of it. This is back when people was burning CDs. She burned me a copy of it and was like, listen to this. And it was like on a Friday, so it was like, just check it out. It's yours, keep the CD, it's yours. I burned that for you. I want you to hear this kid, Kendrick Lamar. I was like, okay, all right, word. She was like, you don't know about him? I said, I think I heard something, but at the time I really didn't know the name. So I was like, okay, cool. Had no idea this was the same kid that did High Powered. Because when I listened to that album, as classic as it is in its own right, it was so much more from he was completely acting his age. He was not acting the before his time energy that I saw in High Powered. High Powered was like, I'm before my time. I'm young, but listen to what I know. Hear me out on how brilliant I am and how great I'm gonna be. Because I'm aware of who I am and what I come from. Good Kid, Mad City was like, I'm dealing with my peers. I'm trying to appeal to my peers. I'm hoping my peers appreciate my voice and what I got to say and where I'm from, coming from LA. I want my homies from my hood to appreciate me and respect me. I want the nation and the world to respect me, but I'm first hoping that home loves me before I go out here, because I'm about to do some big things, and this is the first album that's gonna make it known. Absolutely epic. I think that was the year he won the Pulitzer Prize. And then we all know he came with Big Stepper. And what that was, oh, I'm sorry, wait a minute, I'm forgetting Damn. Damn, yeah. Hold up, wait a minute. Damn, Damn 2, that album. That was my joint. Oh my gosh, love that album too. Between Damn, Pimp a Butterfly, select tracks on Big Stepper, and now G and X, and select tracks on Good Kid, Mad City. Good Kid, Mad City as a whole album, like I say, I pull out certain tracks and they're more special than others to me. But I think that's because of the generation gap and the cultural gap, personal cultural gap. Not just no geographic, I'm in Atlanta, that's West Coast. No, I got friends in LA. I done been to LA more times than I can count now. I'm running out of, I don't even count no more how many times I've been out there. And I know enough about LA that it's just not even about that. It's just more about where I'm at as an individual and where I'm at as an artist and what I think about other artists when they're doing work and what I think is making the most impact on a positive level, on a progressive level, understanding that they are entertainers, they're coming from a rough past, a tough past, the city thing, the urban thing, I get it, I got it. But I still don't give no personal, I don't excuse things that I feel are unnecessary. You know, I think that sometimes artists are doing things just to make sure they're hitting all the right notes to stay popular. And then there's times when they tell you how they really feel, and both Kendrick and Ice Cube have done this on both of these albums in two different ways. But they also, they play it safe at the same time, because they know that, you know, it's not just, they talk a lot of ish in the interview, they talk a lot of ish on certain tracks, but if you ever notice, most rappers, they talk a lot of stuff about what they not gonna do and who they not gonna take no ish from, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, man, they gonna hit them certain notes that aren't necessarily positive, progressive, and elevating conscious, so to speak. It's just a wild ass party shit. Let's just be real. It's just something wild, crazy to speak to the demographics. They say, okay, this is what percentage of your audience is young, and they still gonna cuss and say things that they don't even necessarily mean in a moment, and some of them got drug habits and drinking habits and other stuff, so you gotta speak to them. Okay, so I throw in a couple of B's, a couple of H's for all the women, and I call the dudes a B too every now and then for the ones I got beef with. And what's that thing them kids be saying now, talking about ops? Okay, I'll say ops a bit this many times. I want to say it too many times because I'm too old to be saying. We didn't say that back in the day, so not the way they saying it. So I don't even want to get caught up in that. But you know, so like it's this whole budgeting of how much of the bullshit you're gonna put in there to quote unquote be relevant. I don't want nobody to say I wasn't. You know, I don't know the signs of the times. I'm not in with what's in, and you know, so people be worried about that, and they want to make sure that they cool versus who they might really want to be at that moment. And I think every artist does that. Hell, I think all of us on any form of social media, we do that to a certain extent. I admit, I know I do it sometimes, but I do it in a way Where the funny thing about myself is I can't stand the BS. So like, I'll do it, and then if you're really watching, I'll make a joke about myself. Like, y'all know that ain't what I really think, right? You know I'm just talking ish, right? Or you know that's an exaggeration, or you know this is a satire of how things are. So, in the brilliance of things, I think, you know, now we're gonna go back to see how I'm jumping back and forth. Now we're gonna jump back to Cube. I think that's what Cube did with "It's My Ego." You know, if you look at the video, it's all in front of you. He's literally saying, in many ways, because the character he's playing is Shiesty Preacher. If you think about all his movies, what was the one? Oh my gosh, so many movies he done with Mike Epps. But the one, and Mike Epps is in that video for "It's My Ego." That's his dude. That's Day cousin Day is really his cousin in real life. That's how cool of friends they are. They really do work with each other and boost each other's career. And Cube especially put him on, and he continues to put Cube on. But you know, he never forgets. Big Bro, you know, literally in many ways made his career by putting him in that Friday movie. He was already major, but that stuff, like all that stuff, elevates your name and keeps you, you know, in the limelight. But anyway, "It's My Ego," you can see in the video, you know, Cube is playing this Shiesty Preacher dude, but then he's also, you know, if you listen to the lyrics, that doesn't necessarily have nothing to do with that particular character, but every so many lyrics might, because it's like, it's role play. He's doing like role play of how everybody thinks they the shit now, thanks to social media, quite frankly. I think is what his statement is. Because the most passionate song on the whole album for me, where, you know, people, I saw a lot of comments and people saying, I want that old school Cube, I want him mad and cutting up folk in it. Man, Cube is chilling. He owns Big 3 basketball. He's got all kind of new movie deals coming up. The next Friday will happen. The man got still making money off of every movie you ever seen him in and every album you ever listened to, because it's all getting played at stadiums and concerts and parties and whatever, and all of that has residuals, because he done cut his, I'm sure his contracts are sitting nice, real nice. So Cube don't really, you ain't gonna have as much fervor. Plus you're older and you just don't care, man. You want to be chill. You don't want to be always fighting and cussing out everything. So I feel like the one song where, you know, he had the aggression in there. It was aggressive, typical Cube. But the one song, that one about the internet, man, I was chanting that. First of all, it's a bop. The chorus is catchy as hell. But the song where he's dissing internet trolls, that was the funniest damn song. I was so thoroughly entertained, thoroughly pleased. It was everything I needed. I was like, this is the, yeah, that's the Cube that we all knew still there, but in a different time. Like, yo, ain't no use in me fronting, man. I'm nowhere near the hood no more. If he comes for a quick, you know, news and plenty of security is around, Cube ain't bouncing out no lowrider at the swap meet to give a couple of people autographs. That ain't where he at in life no more. So the chance of some thugs that want to test him from the old days and not, he ain't around none of them goofies. He ain't around none of them goofies. He did, but I'll tell you who he is dealing with is some of them goofies could be online. And that could be from anywhere. I saw many years ago with Body Count. That's what? That's my joy. Talking about some anthems for an older dude that they ish off. None of these goofies out here, man. Like, do y'all understand what we lived through, survived? And they told us, all of us, no matter whether you was from a nice big household or a hood, you was gonna all be gone by 21 statistically, because we done programmed all of y'all into this gangster, drugged out mess, and it's just too much chance of us we're gonna get you all wiped out. This is the mess they pumped in our heads when I was in high school, man. From middle school through high school, this was the garbage we was fed. You know, and the garbage wasn't garbage for some, it was the reality for many. But I'm saying for somebody who didn't live that directly, I got the effects of it indirectly. Yes, I went to a high school where stuff happened. You know what I mean? But it was still one of the greatest high schools at the time in the city of Atlanta. One of the greatest black high schools, you know, ever. Benjamin Elijah Mays. Blue and Gold Raiders, what's good? But it ain't what it used to be, you know? Now they say Mays all thugged out, and it's a brand new school. The mess is brand new. They renovated it, but these kids don't care. They don't respect nothing, you know? It's pathetic. It's absolutely atrocious. But that'll heal. That's I hope it will heal. I really feel like did nobody put all that money into that to allow kids to destroy and disrespect a legacy. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. There gonna be some teachers, new administration, something. But that's a whole nother something that I don't really know the ins and outs of. I know a little bit of ins and outs, but because I know people that work there. But point is, things change, and when you getting older and you see all this craziness, one thing that'll still get you going, boy, is when you done all you could, and you still doing, and you know how many people you helped out, and you thinking to yourself, I'm sure Cube's sitting there looking sometimes at comments like, this is the child of somebody who used to listen to my music. Their dad, mom, grandma, and grandpa, if still alive, used to listen to my music, and now this little ass wipe is trying to talk shit to me online? Man, I will crush your dome. So like, there's a lot of that in the album. There's a lot of that. Let me chin check y'all about my age, the age gap, and how you better respect folk, because we ain't hearing it no more. And I like that. We folk in my generation need anthems to get that up off us, because we still out here. We got to go into the world and deal with everybody. And I get it myself sometimes with just the attitude and the nonchalantness that you encounter when, as an older gentleman, you come around some of these young boys and they don't give you the just general respect. And you say, hey, how you doing? And they just look through you like, I don't know you. You ain't gotta know me, goofy ass. This ain't New York where people don't say hi. This ain't, I don't care if you from there either. You in Atlanta now. Like, just general respect ain't dead. No matter how much y'all trying to kill it. All this ratchet behavior is not, no. Get them drugs out your system so you can focus and acknowledge a person being respectfully kind to your goofy ass before they show you their other side. Because people ain't got to take no ish off nobody. So it's like that out here,